All right. Thanks for being here. So let's start by connecting to our Ujjayi breath. And we're going to start right off with a 1-to-1 ratio, 10 count in, 10 count out. And let's allow for a lot of flexibility as we may not, we may get to 8 at first or 6 at first. So 10 count in, 10 count out. And we can begin that whenever we're ready. We'll just finish up the next couple of rounds. And then we'll sit with our left leg straightened and our right leg bent. The placement of this foot is based off of the feeling in the sacrum and the low back. So the placement of my pelvis and sacrum feel a little better. Walking the right foot forward, please adjust. The right hand supplies vertical movement. So I push down, right? Chest lifts. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Left arm reaches, chest lifts even more. Now, feet pressing. Exhale, the left elbow over the right thigh. Release. Inhaling, unwind. We'll just work that one twist on each side. So we'll switch. Setting the right leg out. Left bent. As the left hand presses, we gain some vertical. As the right arm reaches, inhale. Again, we lift the ribs up even more. Exhaling. Put that right elbow over the left thigh. And release. All right, so let's lie back. Oops. And with feet elevated, knees over hips. I'll talk us through the first few rounds here. These, just getting the breath and the spine kind of moving together. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. There's that little abdominal pressure that just slightly shifts the tip of the tailbone. Exhaling, reach out through the left leg. Soften and relax the head into the hands. Draw the low belly down. Inhale into the low abdomen, setting the left foot back to its starting spot. Exhaling, reach out through the right leg. The right leg can move independently of the pelvis and the torso. Draw low belly down. And inhale, replacing that. I'll talk through one more. A little abdominal pressure does adjust or change the position of tailbone. And then exhale, reach out through the left leg so you're simultaneously holding that tailbone placement, abdominal pressure, reaching out through the leg and exhaling, so drawing the belly down and down. Inhale, bend left knee. And then pausing, there is abdominal pressure. Feel that. Exhaling the right leg out. And the abdomen and the tailbone remain just where they are. Draw low belly down. There's abdominal pressure and there's exhale. All right, inhale, bend that right knee. Let's continue. We'll do 3 more on each side. Just 3 more each side. Let these feel good on your back. So if for you that means putting the feet down on the ground, I think one of the often missed values of these is for the abdominal pressure, shifting the tailbone, to function as true torso or spine stabilizing, meaning there's no motion as soon as we start to move that leg. So the torso experiences great steadiness as the leg moves. You're feeling this great deal of stillness as the leg motion kind of moves your center of gravity about. Kind of that eye of the storm enacted. We'll be setting up for bridge and we'll be working Haparasana in it, so you might like a block nearby. So let's set up the feet hip width apart. And then the fingertips, skim the heels, that's a great distance. When you place the feet in parallel, note that you can feel two halves of each foot. There's an outer half and an inner half. When we place our feet in parallel, I suspect most of us, the royal us, will have more pressure on the outer edge. So just feel what you're doing in your foot with feet active, inhaling, and then exhale, we'll move into bridge. So first, we're going to just kind of reiterate just one move from yesterday. We're going to go thumb and forefinger around the waist. So my palms are facing down at my hip bones. So thumb, forefinger, just kind of wrapped around the fleshy part right above my hip bone. And my arms are the length that they're on the ground. My upper arms are on the ground. Inhaling, press with the hands. That breath starts to lift the chest toward the face. And then we'll release. So I want you to have that sense of there's the potential for feeling spaciousness through the core, the spine. All right, My left hand grab left foot as we draw the left foot back. Half Virasana. Now this is an entirely alternate move. Raising the right leg. Feel free to leave the right foot down and or relieve this left foot or taking it out of half Virasana for some breaths. But as I'm moving, I have my left foot still in Virasana, and the option to raise the right foot is here for us. And we'll set the right foot down, release the left foot, set it to ground. We'll trade sides. So we're drawing the right foot back into half Virasana. So this option and raising left leg, both options for our half Virasana bridge. And we'll set feet down in order to exit bridge. Once you've removed blocks, just slowly unroll out of bridge. And I don't say it explicitly, but if you have some head pressures or spine, back tenderness, you can, and it's really nice to just remain here as long as you need to feel that pressures are good, right? So you could just remain lying as long as your spine or your back needs to. If you are ready to move, we'll set up for some dolphin. So we'll go to hands and knees. Pardon, elbows and knees. Oops. Falling apart here. Figuratively. All right, technologically. All right. So from our dolphin, moving on exhale, we'll enter. Now, if moving from bridge to dolphin is a little bit, there's a lot of sensation in the low back, just keep the knees bent. Remember, there's a lot of great benefit to be had with bent knees in some of these poses like dolphin. Bent knees can offer the back and the lower organs a lot of reprieve, a lot of relief. And I'm straightening the leg actually can put quite a bit of tension on some of our low backs, organs, sacrums. So we're going to apply some stretch to one leg at a time. We'll start with the right foot using the toes just to anchor the left heel downward. Now when we do, keep reaching back through the right hip, both hip bones, sit bones. I'm not just kind of sagging into my left hip or my left foot. I'm still reaching back through both sides of my trunk, both sides of my pelvis, still lifting away from the shoulders. There you go. Good. We'll switch sides, setting the right foot down, left foot, toes, anchor around the right heel cord. There you go. Now, you may have also shifted the weight in your arms and your shoulders so we can keep that fairly evenly distributed, using and pressing through both arms. And then when we set the foot down, take just 4 deep breaths more, lengthening through the upper third of the ribs. So this is around the shoulder blade, the armpit, the bottom of the shoulder blade area. It's both reaching through the legs and the arms, using your low belly. And release. Okay, straight away. Inhale the hands under the chest. And then exhaling into downward dog. Spreading the hand bones. Extending or reaching through all the fingertips. Even those pinkies kind of extending through those. It's kind of the elbow, the outer part of the arm and the elbow. Inhale the right foot forward. Warrior two. I'm going to have a block just kind of near the top of the mat. Okay. I'm placing right arm on right thigh. And at first, I'm just going to reach up through the left elbow. This will be a chest opener, but we'll do it in stages. So by lifting up through the elbow, that leaves my left thumb right in front of my collarbone. So I'm pressing out through both upper arm bones. As I reach out through the upper arm bones with these elbows bent, one of the hopes is you can feel the shoulder blades spreading apart. So the upper back has a bit of that. There's some space, some freedom between the shoulder blades. And then we'll straighten the left arm, still lifting and moving shoulder blade toward the sky as we turn the rib cage, spiraling it, chest towards sky. By lowering the left hand, inhale, lower the right hand either to ground or block. We can do an extended warrior variation. So with the left hand hovering near the left hip, let's continue to reach the left hand away from the head. So you're getting the shoulder to glide away from the jaw. Now as the shoulder, like that'd be like the collarbone and the muscles between the shoulder and the neck as they lengthen and move down. Inhale the chest forward. And release. Inhale, we'll set hands down, both hands. Exhaling chaturanga, stepping the right foot back. Inhale, cobra, upward dog if you're feeling rather warm. And exhaling, downward dog. Stretch, reach out through every single fingertip. Reach out through the pinky tip, reach out through the thumb, index. We'll do those really simple moves on the other side. Inhale the left foot forward, warrior two. I'm doing a chest opening in parts here, so my left forearm on the thigh. And I'm lifting my right arm But for the meanwhile, I'm leaving my thumb it's kind of in front of the shoulder. So yes, my arm is bent for now, but as I lift the elbow into the sky, I'm hoping that that just helps you feel the shoulder blade moves toward the sky. So as the arm bone goes, the shoulder blade, I think it's drawn. Would that be to the right side of the rib cage? So it's a strong lifting move as I am trying to free up the shoulder blade so that upper back area can potentially get a little tangly. And then just kind of smoothly breathing through the upper back, through the ribs, under the shoulder blade. And then lifting up through the fingertips, reaching back. All right, here's a neck release. Inhale, I'm going to lower right hand over the right hip. And the left hand goes down, down to ground or block. Now I'm reaching through that left arm, freeing up that left shoulder blade. Extending, reaching that right arm toward the leg. Open up to free up the right side neck and shoulder. So if you have a kind of a good bodily sense or a map on an anatomical map of your collarbone and your upper arm bone area, you can feel for that AC joint becoming more spacious. You can feel that place where three bones meet opening. You can feel for breath permeating amidst all of this very complex, structured support. The shoulder's such a incredibly complex piece of architecture. All right, inhale, we'll bring the hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga, stepping the left foot back. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Now, as we're doing all of this, lowering and coming up, the heads of the shoulder, that I can do all of these moves, feeling that gliding freedom in the shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. In fact, we'll do just a little experiment. Inhale, step your right foot forward, and let's just step into a warrior two for the moment. We're going to do a really simple, like a perceptual experiment with regards to the shoulder joint. So the shoulder joint will be an area of focus, and so we can do something like, draw the arms out, moving arm, let's just do the right arm from off to the side to our right, to in front, and back. So just make up a simple movement here. Bring our arm from the side to the front to the side. You can do that a couple times, a few times, just getting a sense of the movement, the shoulder area. That's what that feels like. All right. So here's now the experimental move. So as we're reaching out through the arms, common cue for us, right? Reaching and feeling the space emerge in the shoulder. Now we're going to create that motion, but feel as if the arm bone, the socket, the joint space, there's spaciousness all in between those bones as you create that movement of right arm. Almost everyone will get something from this really simple some feeling for the space as they commit to the movement. Okay. That's the experiment. Half moon. I'm going to set the right hand down outside the foot, in front of the foot, drawing the left heel up. Okay. Now I could perform this experiment really anywhere, any transition. So maybe I could even try it again right here. I'm just out louding a little experimental process here. So maybe instead of hefting my left leg up with my muscles, maybe I can feel the space between thigh bone and pelvis, and that there's no interruption of that space as the thigh bone kind of moves up in the space of the hip socket. And then my right hand, which is on a block right now, reaches, so I'm feeling a spacious right shoulder, spacious left hip, at least to start. As I start to press through the right leg, feel that emergent space in the right hip. If I decide to reach the left hand over my left thigh or lift it up, inhaling, we'll set that left foot down for chaturanga. So I think most everyone who kind of plays around with that little thing, I think there's a pretty distinctly different quality of movement. Inhaling, coming up, upward dog or cobra. I think the real awesome practice challenge is to play with those vinyasas, feeling the shoulder joints as gliding space, uncompressed bones is kind of swiveling and pivoting in spacious arenas. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Warrior two. And since you already know what the experiment is, you could try any other movement that you want. So it's feeling that bone, any moving bone, has this wide berth of space all around it as it moves. It's just a little perceptual play. You could do it for the elbow. And I always find it's really interesting to note the breath as you're working with perceiving a joint as being not only surrounded but suffused in space, and the bone is moving with regard to there being a lot of space all around. Interesting to note what happens to the vision field and the breath. This is a really great experiment that can be useful after shock events like accidents and half moon. So setting the left hand down, inhaling the right foot up. I want to take a couple passes at that. So, of course, we can move our structure, but we can do so with regard to the space that supports it, nourishes it, contains it, energetically feeds it. It really can be just so simple, like just feeling that the bone doesn't just drive up into another bone, that it just has wide berth to move in the socket or in the hinge or around the other bone. So that right thigh, that right hip outreaching, the left arm down reaching. Can you feel the left shoulder opening up through that down reach? Now we maintain that left shoulder space, that right hip space. Let's continue pressing through that sole of left foot. Left hip space starts to emerge. The right hand, whether it's reaching over the leg or into the air, right shoulder space starts to emerge. These 4 large joint areas. What's astonishing, I think, again, my opinion, my experience, is the change in energy and breath and just moving from perceiving structure move to perceiving space as structure moves. Inhale, we'll set the right foot down. Exhaling, stepping back for chaturanga. So we can even do this as we lower. So not only am I drawing the shoulders away from the jaw, I can feel those arm bones not just driving back into the socket of my blade. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, downward dog, those arm bones swivel in the spacious contour of the socket. I'm going to set the knees down and set up crow bakasana. I'm going to do it from the ground just to have a lot of my weight on my feet. You're also welcome to set up with your feet on blocks. Okay. So I'm just setting crow up from the ground. You can do it from blocks. In fact, I think I will. And then stepping back into downward dog. Interlock warrior. Inhale the right foot forward. So I could move with reference to my hands connecting, my structure touching. I could also move into this with regard to the shoulder joints and the elbow joints floating in, having lots of space all in and throughout the joints. The external appearance of it all might be the same. Like I might be able to touch my hands either way. But the subjective experience is definitely, it's at least different for me. And to me, it also feels rooted in something much more deeply quiescent. And release. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Now, there's nothing wrong with joints receiving pressure. Though one of the presumptions that I think we make as practitioners of this style is we presume that our joints undergo a lot of compression from many factors, and that we can do a lot to relieve some of those compressions. And the spaciousness of the joint is at once cleansing, renewing, but there's also this wonderful perceptual piece in there. Let's do this interlock on the other side. Inhale the left foot forward. Here we go. Okay, and I could simply just kind of rush my hands to meet. Not a big deal. I could also move my arms with this abiding sense of space all in and around the arm bones, the elbow joints, even the hand and the wrist bones. just coordinated in this dance through all of the space that unites and holds all these bones. This is the wonderful kinds of things we get to play with in, at least I've, in the Zen traditions, just this beautiful, especially the Japanese Zen, right? The mind of the room, it's just this bare, quiescent, unornamented kind of vista for us to be in, the sense of space, something that engenders stillness and spaciousness. Our body too. When we release the hands, inhale, bring them to the ground, under the shoulders, exhaling chaturanga. Inhaling upward dog. Exhaling downward dog. Gently set the knees down. Let's lie back for Shavasana. I find it really interesting that so many of the spiritual traditions that espouse this quality of emptiness and space is also something that we know embryologically, developmentally. So we're going to kind of, in a sense, retrace our energetic steps in our Shavasana. Or a three-bodied practice. So we're going to allow ourselves to notice our bodies. And I'll say like just three kind of, let's say, fundamental substrates or degrees of formedness. So starting with the most tangible, the most concrete, the most evident to the traditional five senses, what we could see, taste, and touch, just the physical body. Just allowing ourselves to note, regard the cells that form our skin, a solid-ish seeming porous substance, our mass. As we relax our mass, we feel that gravity. We feel these water weights shifting. Might feel some pumping, some pulsing or pumping in the body. And then just starting to attune more to what is less formed, what moves more. So this is such an enormous, uh, this covers an enormous territory. So here we can feel all of the fluidic motions, like pulsation and vibration and those rivulets and streamings that we can't or don't necessarily attribute to blood or to other concrete fluids. And these sensations, these rivulets, these streamings and pulsations and vibrations, we may sense them without any regard to our physical containment. We might feel them through our body, regions of our body, around our body. So you can examine and feel not only to the skin, but around the skin, the few inches of space. We know that we have a biofield, we're a bit magnetic. There's different qualities of potency, energetic potency, mitochondrial workings all around the inches and even feet around our skin. And there's simple cellular awareness, the knowing, the bare, simple knowing, the awareness that pervades the body, but also pervades all around our body to the horizon. This fundamental consciousness. It's a bit like a sea, and we're just little waves in this enormous sea. We create little cusps and surf. A quite unformed self here. And then as we just create some small movements in our physical body, our concrete body, right? Just kind of reform, remember, and then bend knees. Turn to a side and press up. Hmm. Namaste.